right, we're gonna see if we can do this in one shot real quick. I got two passengers. That right there is Ren, and back there, lounging out, is her big sister, Kona. So we're in the truck, we're about to run some errands. I've been working all day, staring at screens. My eyes are bloodshot and I'm tired, and so this is my first video I've done, I guess, without sunglasses. So you can see my bloodshot eyes from being on WebExes and reading emails all day. I promised a video about any lingering vision issues after my multiple vitrectomies. Super quick recap, just in the interest of time. About 2 years ago, my left eye started to exhibit floaters and weird stuff I had never seen before. I went into to get an eye checkup, and they said, well, we think you have PVD, which is early for you. I was 46 at the time, and they said probably because I have blue eyes and I'm nearsighted and I have astigmatisms, that probably that was the reason why PVD was happening a little young. So PVD's happening, they say 80% of the time it's fine, but if you start losing your vision, like a curtain or something coming down, then you got to get to a retina specialist like immediately. It's a 5-alarm fire emergency. And so I'm hiking in the woods and I'm with my son. He gets stung by a bee. I'm carrying him, and my vision's like, I start to see like a shadow creeping across my vision, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm having a retina detachment. It's Sunday. I'm 2 miles in the woods. So I carry him, we hike back out 2 miles, and I get to the retina specialist and they start lasering me, and then that's where this whole journey kind of begins, with flashing and floaters and them trying to prevent a detachment. But inevitably, the detachment happens on my left eye. I have to have a vitrectomy. So I get an air bubble in there. They tell me, go home, lay face down for a week. I do it. Don't lift anything more than 10 pounds for many months. I do it. Going crazy, and I thought I'm done. And then like 2 months later, PVD starts to happen in the right eye. So I start having another detachment in the right eye. And the right eye was a little more problematic. I went in, had a vitrectomy, air bubble. While I'm recovering, I noticed some visual distortions and I was worried, so I went in, and it's a good thing I did, because I had fluid building up behind the retina. So they say you got to go in for another vitrectomy. And when I wake up from that, they say, hey, we want it to be safe. We put silicone oil in your eye this time to really be safe, and we're going to keep it in there for a few months. 2 months later, it was ready to come out. At that point, before I got the oil removed, I started to question whether I was getting the best care in New Jersey as I could in New York, and I found an amazing retina specialist and a cataract surgeon in Manhattan. So I went to him to get the oil removed, and at that time I already had a cataract, so they replaced the lens in that. They did a cataract surgery. And that's kind of where I've been up until a couple of months ago, where I started to have in the eye that I had the cataract surgery in, that was great, like 20/20 distance vision, started to see a little bit of cloudiness, and they said I need a quick procedure called a YAG capsulotomy, which they just laser something in there, and my vision's back to 20/20. I can't read anything with my right eye. I have no up close vision in my right eye. I would have to wear reading glasses, but my left eye can read fine, so I don't wear reading glasses right now. Next month I'm going in because I have a cataract in my left eye that I have to get a cataract surgery for, and they're going to see if I'm a candidate for a new lens that's meant for people with astigmatisms. And if I'm a candidate, then they say I could probably be able to read and see distance perfectly. So I'm really excited about that. We will see how that works out. So that's the brief overview. But what is it, what are the things I'm having to live with? Because after multiple vitrectomies and cataract surgeries and all this stuff, your vision is never what it used to be, and mine is not. So I guess we could start with my right eye, which is the one that had the double vitrectomy and the oil and everything. I have some peripheral vision loss, like really far to the right. Like if I'm walking shoulder to shoulder with someone, I noticed that, you know, I lose a little bit, like as far right as you can see. Like I you know, they can get lost in like a shadow kind of thing. It used to be much more noticeable. It's kind of like a shadow over there, but your brain recalibrates, and then, you know, you notice it less and less. So I definitely lost like a sliver of my far right peripheral vision. Not a big deal. Doesn't affect me at all. I can see everything, and you know, the only time it affects me is if I'm walking in crowds, like in Manhattan, where I notice that like I can see very far to the left, but I can't see very far to the right. But everything I've been through, if that's the worst, not a big deal. Then I have all around the peripheral of my retina, where they were trying to make sure it didn't detach, I have a lot of lasering scarring. And what that now has resulted in is that on my peripheral vision, on, you know, both eyes, there's like this, it's hard to describe. It's almost like a shimmering. Like if you look at a road in a hot day where you see like the heat coming off it, it's kind of like that. And again, with that, I'm noticing it a lot less as my brain adjusts to it. But I definitely noticed that. So let's stick to the right eye. We got a little bit of shimmering. We got a little bit of peripheral vision loss. The lens replacement in this eye is awesome, but I have noticed that my night vision is a little diminished. And I don't know if that's from the vitrectomies or the cataract surgery, but a little diminished night vision in that right eye. And then also, if I'm driving at night and light hits me from the side, it can kind of like, you know, refract in there, I think, and kind of cloud out the vision if I get hit. Like if I'm passing a car and their headlights come through here, it's like for a second it's kind of like flashed out. Also not a big deal. Really not a lot to complain about. And then you know, I don't really have light sensitivity, but since I had that that lens replaced, like I said, I can't read with that right eye, which is why switching over to the left eye, when I get that lens replaced, if I'm not a candidate for that new lens, I will put the same lens in that I have in the right eye, and then my reading is done, and I'll have to wear reading glasses for the rest of my life, which again, it's not the worst thing in the world. I'm almost 50, not a big deal. So that's kind of where we are. My left eye, now that it has a cataract in there, my distance vision is definitely very diminished. I noticed like I can read license plates perfectly with the right eye, not so much with the left eye. So I'm ready to have a cataract surgery done and get that fixed. So that's coming up next month, and we'll see. You know, if I'm not a candidate for that, I'll throw the same lens in and I'll have perfect 20/20 distance vision. But my reading, you know, I'll have to wear glasses, which is really annoying because you know, you pick your phone up and down all day. That's basically where I'm at. But the most concerning thing, and the thing I've asked them many times to look at, is the shimmering, because it made me nervous that there was like maybe another detachment on the way. But they said it looks fine, and it's probably just from the scar tissue, and like weird stuff happens with the retina when it gets damaged. So it's probably just something I have to live with. One other thing that I have in my left eye, which is the original vitrectomy, is a pinpoint right in my central vision. It's so small that like if I'm looking at my phone, it's like smaller than even one letter on the screen. But it's a little like distortion right in my central vision. I do notice that when I'm looking at a horizontal line, especially if I'm behind like a car at night with like a thin light bar as the back light, like you'll see like a little like wave or a little blip right in the central vision. Not a big deal. They also said once I get the lens swapped out in there, that might get better, but I had specialists look at me. You know, the retina looks fine. I had an ocular nerve specialist look at me to try to just find out what I was talking about with this little divot in the center. And it really doesn't impact me at all. I can read fine. I can see everything fine. I'm just OCD, so when I see something weird, I like focus on it. So those are all the things I'm kind of living with now, getting used to. And I've noticed that vision recovery is not a straight line, and healing from these things is not like a straight trajectory. Your brain has to remap. Every time I had a surgery, my brain had to remap. I was tired, I had headaches, because like everything in your brain is computing its input, and when its input changes, it's like changing the peripheral on a computer. It has to kind of recalibrate. So that's why I tell everybody in the comments, like, you got to be patient. Like, your brain has to rewire. It's not always as bad as you think right after the surgery. Like, your initial expectation is like, you have the surgery done, I'm going to be 100% as soon as I'm healed and the air bubble's gone. Not so much. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. So I'm looking forward to the April consultation to get that lens swapped out, and then maybe this journey's over, and then I have some lingering little things like what I just mentioned for the rest of my life. And if that's the worst of it, then I will consider myself very, very lucky. So if you're going through something similar, if you're about to go through surgery, or you have gone through surgery and you're worried about things you're experiencing, hopefully my experiences will give you some insight into, maybe what you can expect or not expect. Maybe you'll go through it and you're perfect right away, which is what I hope for everybody. But sometimes things take a little bit of time and patience, especially when you're dealing with your brain and the retina. The retina is a really tricky thing. So if you have any questions about like some of these lingering symptoms, or if you're going through them, leave a comment. I'm going to continue making videos until this journey is done, and I'll probably continue making different kind of videos after that. Going on a road trip soon to Maine with my wife and my son, and we're going to drive the car, and that's why that camera mount is up there. I probably forgot something in here. I wrote notes one night, about some of the things that I experienced, because you start to just get used to your current situation, and sometimes you forget exactly all of the things that are kind of annoying occasionally. But I have to say, having gone through so much, 3 vitrectomies, cataract replacement, YAG capsulotomy, tons of lasering, I am so grateful that we live now. Like, that this is possible, because I would be blind if this happened even like 50 years ago. And right now I'm about to go for a drive, and I can see everything, and I can appreciate this amazing day. It's almost 60 degrees. It's going to be 80 degrees this weekend. This morning it was 30 degrees, so the weather's a little bipolar right now in New Jersey. But I hope everybody's doing great. I hope if you've gone through surgery, you're healing. And again, if you have any questions, let me know. I hope these videos help, and just be patient. You'll get through it. Take care.